Guys, all the cars that you see in these videos are for sale on my website, www.woodsandbarclay.com. Enjoy the video. Welcome back, everybody. I am starting part 3 on the 1983 300D. I think it's 73,000 miles, but today I just got in 3 giant boxes of parts from the warehouse. And let's go ahead and take a look. So the car has currently been in my home garage. I'm about to back it out, pull it into the shop, because I got to start doing a lot of work. So let me show you what we got here. Okay, so we can see here I have the new front and rear ATE brake rotors. And check this out. It's like Christmas morning. Okay, there's all the new Bilstein shocks. Here we go. Here's some sway bar end links. There's the SKF wheel bearings and seals, front brake pads and rear brake pads. Here's the new ball joints. This is the AC expansion valve. Here's the AC high pressure switch and temp switch. These are the control rod bushings. We have brakes, brake calipers. Oh, here's all the new brake lines back here. Here we go. This is new left tie rod, right tie rod, center link, steering shock, upper control arms. This is the new AC dryer, receiver dryer, and we have more brake pads over here. So basically all this, and I'm still waiting on the AC compressor to come in. So this is all of the components needed to redo the brake system, the suspension, all the front suspension, the AC system, and the front and rear shocks. Guys, I have my work cut out for me. So instead of showing me disassembling all this, which you guys have seen in tons of videos, you've seen the before when I did the initial inspection on the vehicle. I think I was also doing the drive shaft center support in that video. So in this video, I'm going to show you the after. So once I have all this knocked out, I'm going to do a walk around under the car, which you guys are going to see like in the next frame, but it's going to be like probably several weeks later, or at least several days later. So anyway, we'll see you guys in a minute. Hey, welcome back, everybody. I think this is part 3 in the video series for the 1983 300 TD. It either has 73 or 77,000 miles. I think it's 73,000 miles. I have to look. But this video is covering all of the suspension and undercarriage. And you can see it's a little dusty. It's been in my shop for several weeks. And I'm going to take you under the car and show you all the work done on the suspension and undercarriage. So let's go take a look. So a lot has happened on this car since you saw the last video. I think the last video we were doing the drive shaft and transmission mount. So I'll go ahead and start over here. As you can see, I have new brakes. These are ATE brakes. Those were the original, factory original that were on the car. And new rotors, new calipers, new rotors. You can see I've driven it like a mile or so. So there's a little bit of wear starting to appear on the rotor, but eventually that gray factory coating will wipe all the way off. You can see they're coated gray from the factory. And then it'll be, you know, a silver, just metal rotor. But right now it still has some of the factory protective coating on there. I've also refinished the hubs and packed the wheel bearings. And actually, let me lower, I've installed new wheel bearings and new seals. And let me lower the car a little bit so I can show you up here, and then we'll go up underneath the car. Okay, I've got it lowered down, and you can see, in addition to finishing the hubs, I've refinished the steering knuckle in the original factory semi-gloss black. And you can see there is are some new Bilstein shocks in here. And I replaced the upper control arms. You can see brand new bushings, brand new upper control arm. And I've also put in new brake hoses. And I just wiped away some of the dirt on this spring to reveal the factory markings. I'll probably clean up that spring a little bit more with some acetone. So this is all done. Everything's been painted, refinished, all new bushings, brakes, bearings, seals, calipers, rotors. That is completely done. Let's go raise the car up and let's look underneath it. Okay, as we proceed under the car, you can see I've also refinished the original lower control arms. Guys, I like the underside of the car, all the chassis parts. I mean, it's not necessary to paint this stuff back to the semi-gloss black. But, you know, once Scott details the car, the exterior looks so nice. I like the underside of the car to look just as nice. So I'll refinish and repaint all the suspension control arms and whatnot. Let's see, back here, you can see there's a brand new ball joint. We will move around here. You can, of course, see there's new pads, new rotors. This is a brand new tie rod, outer tie rod. That is a brand new control rod bushing. And if we move over here, we'll see this is a brand new center link. This attaches the pitman arm and the idler arm together. There's the idler arm. There's the pitman arm. And then this is a new Stabilis steering shock. That's what Mercedes used. That's a steering damper shock. You also see it's new parts over here. Calipers, rotors, bearings, refinished the hub. New hoses, new brake hoses. Same goes for the upper control arm over here, and refinished the steering knuckle. You can see the new ball joint over here, brand new Lemforder. That was an OEM manufacturer. You can also see there's brand new control rod bushing here. Now the lower control arm bushings, those are in near perfect condition. There's absolutely no need to change those. It would be a complete waste of time. You can also see on the other side here too, those are those are outstanding condition. So not changing the lower control arm bushings. You can even see a lot of the cadmium plating is still visible down here under the car. That's a really good sign of the climate that the car was in. It's not, you know, all worn off and nasty. And you'll also see how I've refinished the oil pan. There was no excessive leaking. It was very clean under here. So I just cleaned this up and repainted it so it looks nice. And also you will see a brand new AC compressor. I've completely redone the AC system. New compressor, new dryer, new expansion valve, new seals, and it's been converted to R134. And you'll notice there is a brand new belt. There's new belts on the car. So that's all been taken care of. And this, guys, this took me a while to get this all knocked out. Let's move back here to the back of the car. You can see I've cleaned up and refinished the pan on the transmission. And also, just doing the inspection here, if you see this exhaust, the exhaust is excellent condition. All of them have surface rust. That's totally normal. But what you look for, you want to see if any black trails are coming out of the seal where the front and rear exhaust connect together, and it's actually spotless here. So the exhaust is in very good condition. And you can see from the last video how we put in a new transmission mount, and the drive shaft has completely been out of the car. That's a new flex disc, and you can see the new center support bearing. That was from the last video. And you can see that drive shaft has been refinished, repainted, completely redid the entire drive shaft. So the entire drive line is done on this vehicle. That new drive shaft in there looks fantastic. The drive shaft shop painted that, and it looks great. Also refinished the rear control arms in the original factory semi-gloss black. I just like how that looks, you know, it makes it look really nice. You can see it's refinished over here. There's also new Bilstein shocks. We'll go around to the back of the car so you can see these. Here you go, let me zoom out. See how that's all nice and refinished in the semi-gloss black? And of course, I put in new sway bar end links. There you can see the brand new Bilstein shock. Also, the fuel line and the in-tank filter. See how that was changed? Because those will get clogged up. And if we move back here to the exhaust, also refinished the original exhaust, so that looks really nice. So all that has been taken care of under the car, all the way from the front to the back. All new bushings, bearings, control arms, brakes, rotors, calipers, hoses, all of it has been taken care of and will not need to be addressed for, I don't know, 100,000 miles or more. So that looks really good under here. You can see I drove it a little bit, so it started to wear the coating off of here, the ATE rotors. There's the new ATE caliper back here. There's also new hoses back here on the rear. You see I freshly redid the control arms. Looks really, really good. Here you can see the new ATE pads, rotors, and calipers. Now also keep in mind, guys, you see the dirt up here in the wheel well. This car has not been detailed. We have only been doing mechanical work right now. So when I take it to Scott, when we detail it, all this is going to be pressure washed and cleaned under here. See the dirt back here kicked up on the trunk area. All that's going to get detailed and taken care of. This is only mechanical stuff that we're doing in this video. So again, all that gets cleaned up. Really good. So guys, that took a while, you know, but we'll lower the car down and let's actually, I want to go ahead and do an oil change right now, because tomorrow morning it goes to the alignment shop. Oh, I forgot about the new wheels. So let me show you the original wheels. Here they are. Here's the original wheels right here. And you can see those are original. They're showing some signs of wear. See how the clear coat has started to come off a little there, and just some scratching on here. I mean, they're not horrible condition, but those are the originals from, you know, 1983. And I could clean that up a little better. But instead, I got some original bunt wheels and had them professionally refinished, base coat, clear coat, just like the factory. And I got some new tires. Look at that. That looks beautiful. And that's exactly how Mercedes did it. Base coat, clear coat. I think Astral Silver. Those look absolutely fantastic. So I am going to get some new center caps, because you saw the center caps that originally were on the car. I mean, they're not horrible, but there's just a little scuffing and discoloration on them. So I'm going to replace, I think I have some center caps over here actually. Yeah, here's a bunch of, oh no, those are chrome center caps. I don't want to put those on there. You can still get the center caps from Mercedes, guys. Here's the part number. These are, I guess, that's an R107 part number, 1074000025. You can still order those from the dealer. Actually, before I lower this down, I'm going to go ahead and do the oil change right now. All right, let's let that drain out. Get some fresh Rotella 15W40 in there. And again, you've seen me use Hengst and Mann. These are both German-made filters. I like Hengst better for the air filter because the Mann fits a little tight. But what we want to make sure we do, we want to place this crush washer right here. They come with the filters. We want to replace this on our oil pan plug. There we go. Let's wipe that thing off. Get our copper crush washer on there. Let's go ahead and put this back up in the car. And it doesn't take a crazy amount of torque, guys. You just snug it in there real good. There we go. All right, let's lower this thing down. We want to check the transmission fluid and see if that needs to be changed. And then we'll check the power steering, coolant, and do all that kind of stuff. All right, we're back here down on the ground, and you can see that old original hood pad has completely deteriorated, but I picked up another hood pad. I have it up here on top of the wagon, so I'm going to install that hood pad this week after it comes back from the alignment shop. All right, let's go ahead and get this oil filter out of here. And guys, I thought about if I should send this off to be recadmium plated, but as you can see, the original cadmium from the factory is still on the car, and I think that is much cooler than redoing the cadmium plating because that's original, and I like the originality of the car and having that original cadmium still on there. So I think I'm going to leave this original cadmium as it is. See how nice that original cadmium is? I think that's really cool that that's the original and it's still on the car. So I definitely want to leave that on there. I always call it cadmium, but as you guys know, it's zinc dichromate. Here, look at the oil filter cap. Even look how bright that original zinc dichromate still is on there. So let's leave that. That's really cool that that's all original. And you guys have seen this a million times. It's just two 13mm nuts back here. And keep in mind, when you're putting them back in, do not over torque them. Oh, let's check the firewall throttle linkage bushing right here is in fantastic condition. That does not need to be changed. This is just an excellent condition car that was just really taken care of, you know. These are the ones you want to find. It's always finding cars that were owned by pilots or like engineers. Those are always the best. As Alma, the older lady, owned this, and before that, she bought it from a pilot. And you can really tell a car that a pilot has owned because they're always so nice. Get our vacuum lines out of the way. There's our filter housing lid. Oh, and there's our gasket. Throw that away. And let's lift this filter out of here. And here we go. And guys, I know you've seen this a million times. This just, you know, this is helpful to people that are buying these cars for the first time and just need to know how to do this stuff. So every filter comes with a new gasket. And the new gasket, I'm going to put a little oil on it and it slips over the filter housing, the oil filter lid or housing lid. So let's get a little oil on that. Okay, got a nice coating of oil on there. We just slip that around there. And then we'll slip on our Hanks filter. There we go. Let's get this guy back in the car. Now, when you're putting it back in the car, let me show you guys something. This is your heater core. Let me zoom in. See that hose right there? It is like right in the way of the lid. You always have to push this hose back and out of the way to get the lid on. Also, you have all your vacuum lines that come through the firewall right there. And you can see how close they are to the lid? You got to like hold those out of the way in order to get the lids to go on easier. There we go. Now these are only torqued down to like 10 foot-pounds, guys. Don't over torque these. You'll pull out the studs on the oil filter housing. The studs are just pressed in. There we go. That's all you need. Just snug them up. Don't go crazy tight on them. All right, here's one of the things I like about the 83 versus the 84 models is it's still zinc dichromate plated, and you have a wing nut on here. It's not that plastic cap that you see on the 84, 85 models. The 83 model is my favorite model Mercedes. Gosh, that actually looks pretty damn good. I'm changing it anyway. Yeah, it's a little brown, so it looks pretty good though. But there's a filter down in there, so we want to drain it. I'm going to pull the hose down below off the pump. We'll drain it, and then we're going to put a new filter in there. All right, we got most of the fluid out of there. Let me show you how to remove. They have a really strange mechanism for securing that filter down in there. Yeah, see, if some mechanic pushes it down too far, it makes it difficult for the next guy. There we go. You can kind of walk them up if you shimmy them back and forth. There we go. There we go. It's like it's almost like a crab trap. It presses on but won't come back off. See how that's like it's like a concave on this side. So when you press it on, it can't come back up. It grips in there. But we'll set that aside. And then we'll take the spring off. The spring, you know, pushes down on the filter and keeps it in there in place. But here's our filter. All right. So, guys, that has definitely been changed. That's not the original filter. Someone was, you know, definitely maintaining the car and changing that. That's like one of the most neglected items on these old diesel Mercedes. People never change the power steering filter, but it's good to see that one has been changed. Let me go get a new one and we'll show them side by side. Again, I really like Hengst. Good product. But here is the replacement filter. You can see this one's not too dirty. It's just red from the automatic transmission fluid. But let's go ahead and get this guy out of here. All right, let's get our new filter in there. Look how clean it is in there, guys. That's 38 years old. That's quality parts right there. So, the way you get these back in there, you have to use some needle nose. And there we go. There's our fresh power steering filter. All right, so you fill it up with Dexron Mercon 3 automatic transmission fluid. Let me show you guys what I use. Guys, this is the stuff I use. There we go. Dexron, I don't know if you can see that. There you go. Dexron 3 Dex Merc ATF. That's the stuff you use. Now I have to bleed the bubbles out of it once I have it filled back up. There we go. And you fill it up, guys, right to this line. Let me show you. Right there. See that like casting line that runs across right there? You fill it up right there to that line. And now we have our fresh filter and our bright fluid in there, clear fluid. So let me go rotate the steering wheel left and right, like all the way lock to lock, like 10 or 15 times, and it'll purge the air bubbles out of the system. And our little like crab trap washer on there. And now, put our cap back on there. There we go. And there we go, guys. Let's go over here and check the transmission fluid. Look how nice that original air filter housing lid is. That's original. It's nearly flawless. All right, back here, let's check this. Okay, that is bright red. That fluid is in excellent condition. There's no reason to change that. That is obviously been changed. I would check that again in like 30,000 miles. That absolutely does not need to be changed. Let's just check it again. Yeah, I mean, look at that. That is bright red fluid. No need to change that. I need to put a blanket over here and scrape this hood pad off, so every time I bump it, it gets that dust everywhere. All right, let's go ahead and get some oil back in here. All right, we are going to do a valve adjustment and remove the valve cover and clean everything up in one of the next videos. But right now, I just want to get all the fluids changed because I want to drive it to the alignment shop tomorrow. So that's what I use, Rotella T4 15W40. Been using this stuff for years. It's great oil, and it takes like 7 or 8 liters. You just kind of put in like 1.5 of these and then let it settle and check it on your dipstick. All right, that's like 1.5 of these. Let's put in a little more. We're going to crank it up and let it circulate through the engine and then let it sit for like 10 minutes and then we're going to check our dipstick. We got full oil pressure. We just want to get the oil circulated around and then let it sit and check our level. Guys, this engine runs so good. See how smooth it was idling? All right, we're going to go ahead and let this sit for like 10 minutes, and then we're going to check our oil. Now, of course, the brake fluid, that's all been changed because I just redid the brake system. And I can see it has the correct coolant in the car, but I'm going to go ahead and drain the coolant and just put in some fresh coolant. That's always a good idea. You can't tell when coolant is good or bad because it always looks the same. But I'm going to go ahead and raise the car up. We'll drain the radiator and then put in some fresh coolant. We're also going to go ahead and change the air filter. And let's see what this air filter looks like. Yeah, that's an old air filter. It's clean. There's no oil anywhere. But yeah, that's an old air filter. Let me show you guys what the new one looks like. Again, I like to use Hanks. The Hanks filters fit way better than the MAN filters. What is the part number on this guy? I don't know, maybe that's it, E107L. Oh, there we go, 002-094-0404. I'm guessing that's it. There's a World Pack number, World Pack 12087. But, there you go. Look what the new filter looks like. So that filter might be like 15, 20 years old. So let's throw that guy away. I'm sure it's still working fine. It wasn't dirty or oily. And you can see down in here, look how dry it is. So like there's even dust in here. There's no oil. Yeah. Fantastic. Here's where this tube connects. And the oil from the combustion gases goes up through here into this canister, dumps down in here. It is reburnt through the turbo. That's like the PVC system. Anyway, let's throw this new filter in there. Yeah, I remember I changed these bushings when I got the car. I just want to wipe it down real good in here. Get it nice and clean. There we go. This is why I like the Hanks, because watch how easy these go in. The MAN filters will get stuck, and you can't get them in and out because they're just, the mold is a little bit too tight. But the Hanks, see, you can get them in and out real easy. I mean, that's it. It takes like 2 minutes, guys. And then that's just a press fit back on there. Guys, look, that's the original insulation from the factory with the original zip tie. You also have the original insulation on the AC manifold. That's just, that's only on the nicest, most well cared for cars. Normally that stuff is all deteriorated and long gone. All All right, let's go ahead and get the, we're going to check our oil now. It's been sitting for a little while. Okay, here you go. I'm right, see the two marks there, here and here, I'm right below it. I need to get right to the middle, or at least between those two marks. So let's add a little more oil in here. Stuff looks good enough to drink sometimes. All right. I bet you that's going to do it right there. All right, we'll let that go ahead and settle. And in the meantime, we're going to raise the car. We're going to drain the coolant and fill it up with some fresh coolant. Actually, I'm going to put a bucket under the radiator drain plug and drain it just at chest level here. But it's important to pop off your cap. Set that there, that way it can breathe and get air in there as you're draining it. So let me show you what we have to undo down here. Okay, I'm just under the front of the car. You can see I have a bucket here, and there is our drain plug. See if I can do this with one hand while I'm holding the camera. There we go. And that's going to come out of there like all hell's broken loose. There we go. The little hook is on there, and that little hook holds it in there, but I just went ahead and pulled it out so it'd flow freer. When this is like dangling right here, it just sprays all over the place. So we'll let that drain, and we'll get some fresh coolant in here. Okay, I've got the radiator drained, and now there's still going to be coolant in the block and the heater core. But what I like to do is go ahead and just fill it back up, and then run the car for 20 minutes or so, get everything up to temperature, and just drain it a few times and keep filling it up with fresh coolant. And that's just an easier way to flush it all out, rather than getting up underneath there and removing the drain plug from the block and draining the block. It also makes it easier when you do it that way to keep the air bubbles out of the system. So I just do a couple of flushes, 2 or 3 flushes, and then keep refilling it with coolant. So let's go ahead and get some coolant to put in here. And I use the Zurex G05. And there's other stuff you can use too. This is the gold colored stuff. And this is the good stuff. It's the safe stuff to put in there. There you go. Zurex G05. And I see I've already got 50-50 mix written on here. 50-50 coolant and water. All right, let's go ahead and get some more. All right, that's right about there for now. Now we want to crank the engine up, get it up to temperature, turn on the heater, or defroster, so it starts circulating through the heater core, and it's going to purge any bubbles out of the system. That'll take a minute, but before we do that, I want to check our oil level because we just topped it off. Boom, there we are. We are right between the two marks. And guys, the oil goes black immediately in a diesel, like right when you put it in, because these engines, diesel engines, have so much soot that as soon as it goes back into that pan, it's black again as soon as you run it. All right, so let's go ahead and get the engine up to temp, turn on the defroster, purge any bubbles out of there. All right, we got the engine running, and ignore the air filter housing. On the camera, I think the frame rate, the 30 frames per second on the digital camera, it makes these things look like they're wobbling in this weird fashion, but it's actually just vibrating like normal. But we have our cap off over there. Let's go check inside the car. Okay, our low fuel light is on. That's good. So we need to get this up to temp, and once we get it up to temp, I'm going to turn on our defroster, and that way it will circulate through the heater core and we'll slowly purge the bubbles out of here. So let me go ahead and take care of that. And guys, while I'm waiting for the engine to come up to temperature, I want to show you the new AC components over here. Of course, under the dash is the new evaporator. I'm sorry, not evaporator. Under the dash is the new expansion valve. And right here, you can see we have our new high pressure switch, our new temperature switch, and our new receiver dryer. That takes moisture out of the system. And this hose right here goes up to the condenser up front, and this goes back to the expansion valve, which is located under the dash in a 300D. I'll show you where that is. It is located right under this panel, like literally right there. And that was changed out. So anyway, let's finish getting this up to temperature, get these bubbles out of here. And then we're gonna put the wheels back on. We're gonna get this thing to the alignment shop. I also wanted to show you this. Here's the R134, the retrofit fitting right there. See, they just screw on to the R12 fitting. See if I can show you the one down here. There we go. I need to put the cap back on that one. But you see, there's the retrofit fitting right there. And here's our cap for the high pressure line. I'm going to go ahead and go under there and put our cap over that adapter fitting. There we go. That's the high pressure fitting there. Okay. I can already see I'm going to need to remove the fuel level sender. See my gauge, I just saw it fluctuate a little bit. It bumped up and down, and that light is on. So I have to take that out and clean it or replace it, because that light should not be on when the fuel is at that level. Anyway, we're coming up to temperature right here on the engine. And also, I'm going to retrofit the tachometer with a new digital upgrade. There's a guy that makes a digital upgrade, and I'll show you what that is. So, under your hood here, you have this cap. That is your amplifier for the tachometer. Now, those fail. I have some over here that I've taken apart. Here you go, here's the cap. But underneath that cap, you can see I've started to scrape off this like silicone. There are a couple of capacitors under there. And there you go, that's how it looks. And that screws down into the car, and that's your tachometer amplifier. But those capacitors fail, and then the tach will no longer work. So I've got a new digital upgrade that will replace this unit. And I'm going to put it on this car, and that'll never be a problem again. Alright, let's go ahead and see what our engine temp is up to. Alright, I can see we're still just above between 40 and 80, so we're not warm yet. So anyway, I'm going to do this off camera, let this get up to temperature and finish purging the air out of this coolant system. There we go, we can see our level dropped a little bit from the cold fill line because it sucked it into the system. So I'm going to go ahead and top that off. Alright, we've got it filled back up to our cold fill line there. Haven't started flowing the coolant yet, but I'm just squeezing some of the bubbles out of there. You see it? There we go. Let's see if that's getting hot yet. Yes, getting a little warm. Alright, I'll go ahead and finish this up. I had to step out of the shop. It's like filled up with diesel exhaust while that's heating up. Choking myself out in there. Should be up to temp here in a minute or so. All right, while it's coming up to temp, I'm also testing the AC auxiliary fan, and we can see that it has correctly kicked on. This is the auxiliary fan that kicks on when the red pressure switch detects a certain amount of pressure in the AC system. And that's correctly working, and we can see it's kicked on and adding extra cooling for the condenser right here. So that's good. Now I'm going to go put it on, make sure it's on defrost. Okay, I think we got all the air out of the system. And tomorrow I'm going to drive it a couple of miles to the alignment shop, and I'm going to see how the thermostat's working. We should be, you know, between 80 and 100 on the dial on the temp gauge. So there we go, fresh coolant. All right, let's yeah, and so I'm going to test drive it a couple of miles to the alignment shop and see if the thermostat's opening at the right temp, because I might need to replace the thermostat. I'm not sure yet. And let's go ahead and put these wheels and tires back on here so we can drive it to the shop. Okay, I have the nice new bunts on there. I still need to get the center caps, but those look outstanding. New Uniroyal tires. I need to lower the car down and torque the lug bolts, but those look absolutely fantastic. I'm going to order the center caps from RBM Mercedes of Atlanta this week. Beautiful. Let's see if I can show the other one up here. Well, there's the other one. You can see it from over here. So anyway, let me get the car lowered down and get these all torqued to spec. All right, guys, that is a basic service so we can get the car up to the alignment shop. Let's go ahead and get it fired up here and back it out of the garage, and we'll drive it up to the alignment shop in the morning. Oh, let's check out our new AC system. Center vents correctly open. Need to change the shifter bushings. We'll do that when we get it back from the alignment shop. We'll change the rear diff fluid, get the Becker radio back in here. Oh, that feels nice. Change out our fuel sender, change out our tachometer amplifier. Still got a little ways to go. But yeah, what you saw in this video was all the suspension, everything from the front of the car all the way to the back has been done. AC system is done. We've done a basic service. Let's go back out of here. Might just drive it up there tonight and leave it at the shop. So we got a little ways to go on this car. AC feels nice though. Let's check and see if all our lights are working up here. Very nice. I'm going to take off the, looks like they had a gold Mercedes license plate up front. That's a little tacky, so I'm going to take that off. Okay, I've backed the car up a little bit now that I got the wheels on, and the last thing we want to do in this video is replace the mono valve. Now the mono valve controls the coolant flow through the heater core. Come on, there we go. That's a 12 volt power supply, and it lives right here in this assembly. And you take it out with a flathead screwdriver. Let me get a bigger one. But the mono valve has a little rubber boot on it, and that boot is notorious for ripping. And so the default failure mode is to have the heat come on. So let's go ahead and just put a new genuine Bosch mono valve in there. It's easiest to get it out if you remove this hood gasket right here. There we go. All right. Okay, no coolant spilled out that time. That's good. And let's check out this mono valve. Okay, this valve actually looks, let me get the focus here. This one, I don't actually see any rips, but we do have a bunch of coolant down in there. So I'm going to go ahead and just put in a new genuine Bosch mono valve anyway, just to be safe. So let's go ahead and get that. Okay, excuse the clutter on the workbench here. But your mono valve, so you have, we're going to just take the valve out here. There we go. That's just a magnetic coil. See, like that. That allows the valve to move back and forth. We'll set that down. But it just operates it. It's a plunger. When 12 volts is applied, it sticks forward like that and prevents coolant flow through the heater core. When the heater's on, it sucks back in there. So, I don't know how old this one is, but see, we do have some crud and corrosion on there. So I'm assuming this is, I don't know, this one's old. So, I have a whole bag of genuine Bosch mono valves. These are not MTC. They're not aftermarket. These are about $300. And I have a whole bag of them back there. So we're going to put this in. Now it's important you put in, see it's got a washer, then a curvy washer, and then a flat washer. It's important you put them in that order. That's a nice genuine Bosch. So all we're going to do, slip it right down into there like that, and then we're going to go install this back in the car. And installing it's real easy, guys. You just hold it by the little cylinder on the top here like this, and we just set it back down in there. Now it's important. All right, then we reattach our 12 volt power, and that will never be an issue for a long time. Let's go ahead and reattach our gasket here. All right, that off. But that concludes this video, guys. Off to the alignment shop, and we will see you in the next video where we're continuing to go through this 83 300D. So hope you enjoyed it, and we will see you next time. Take care.